So, Mark, did you see that video of the Bighorn Sheep crossing the street in Boulder City right next to the sheep sign? The weather has been wonderful in Southern Nevada, very warm for this time of year. A great time to go out and see those beautiful bighorns.
Says the guy wearing a hoodie.
Hey, it's an Aces hoodie. Come on. I'm representing.
Yeah. No, it's cool to see. I mean, we didn't get to see them when we drove through there last time. I mean, I've talked about many times how much I enjoy Boulder City, and I can't wait to go back. I think it's the coolest neighborhood in the Vegas area. So I'm excited to see these things in real life. They look like they would mess up your car, though, big time if you pissed them off.
They're practically domesticated. They're so well behaved.
Do you think they know how to do a button hook? Do you get that reference at all?
No. So let's talk power outages. There was a big power outage in town over the last couple of days. It specifically affected Cosmo and the airport. The airport people were landing. They were stuck on planes because they couldn't get the jet bridges to work. People were stuck in the airport. Cosmo, people were stuck in the elevators for an hour and a half. And there's some video of that. I once got stuck at the Tropicana, Mark, in the same way, above a floor. Kind of scary when your elevator gets stuck and then you got to hop down to get out.
Yeah, because you always see the scary movies where as soon as you get out, the elevator drops to the ground and your legs could have been chopped off. But I don't understand that. Like, wouldn't you think there'd be a generator just for the elevators for when the power goes out? So you don't have people stranded or nobody's unsafe and you can get them up and going and then people could still get to their rooms and stuff. Like, it doesn't seem like it would be that difficult to set something like that up. And I'm kind of surprised that the airport doesn't have any type of backup generator. That's kind of scary.
Yeah, I'm sure there some sort of basic stuff, but to operate the airport, they can't do it. The crazy thing is the police arrested a couple of guys for stealing copper, and they never confirmed if it's related to this, but it seems like it is. So people were trying to steal copper at a substation, causing the outages. They said that the elevator sort of dropped when the power went out. So I imagine once it's misaligned and stuff, it's probably frozen in place and then they have to get you off. So it's not as simple as just opening the doors. But yeah, I don't want to be stuck in an elevator. It happened to me once as a kid. That was enough. No, thank you.
Yeah, what if you just ate at the seafood buffet and then you're stuck in an elevator?
What's worse, being stuck in that Caesar's bathroom or the elevator? So the Review Journal is reporting that the quote-unquote Mar-A-Lago of Las Vegas is for sale. This is the Sterling Club that is over at the Turnberry Towers. I don't know if it's quite Mar-A-Lago, but it is a country club. They recently renovated it. The current owners bought it for $12.3 million in 2018. They've done renovations. Memberships are around $550 a month, $5,000 to join. I'm not sure. Can you join if you don't live there? Is it just for residents? But yeah, you can buy this piece of Las Vegas bouginess.
They call it a country club, but there's no like golf course or anything, right? It's just kind of like a hangout area with a pool and like private dining club almost.
Yeah, it's kind of everything that a country club has except for the golf course, which may be a big part of that.
Yeah, I think that's the main part of people joining, unless they're just social members. But for $550, I would expect a little bit more than just that, unless you're getting access, to important people, make connections, all those types of things. If you have the money, they're going to take it. So I don't think you likely have to live in Vegas. I'm sure there's a lot of people that travel there for business and want to have a place to go and stuff and have memberships and everything. But I don't know. How many members do you think are here? It doesn't seem like it's all that well known.
I knew about it, but I always thought it was just for people who live there. So somebody can correct us in the comments, let us know. But $21 million, it's almost double what they paid for it. They did pump a lot of money into it. Yeah, hopefully some residents, some people can chime in, let us know. But it seems based on this that anybody could get in. If you don't want that, you can buy Cashman Field. People might remember that it went up for auction last year and nobody bid enough for it. And so they've made some changes now and they're putting it back up for auction. No less than $36.14 million is what they will sell it for. And this includes the entire area, all the land, the Cashman Field complex. Of course, it's probably all going to get torn down and redeveloped. But what they did this time around to make it more attractive to investors is they put some clauses in there to help them kind of streamline the approvals after they buy the land. We really need housing here. We'll talk a little bit later about that. And this would be perfect for that. So hopefully they'll get some bids this time.
Yeah, I think it'd be a really good, good plot of land. You could have a lot of space, maybe put some condos up or houses. But I'm sure you'd get more bang for your buck if you're putting up a couple condo buildings with like some type of open grass area in the middle along those lines. I think it'd be cool. Have they said where like the soccer team's going to go play now?
I know that they moved out of there. I don't know what their future is. There's a couple of smaller stadium proposals that have been made. So I'm not quite sure what the latest is on that. Maybe we can follow up on what's going on there. But Cashman Field is pretty much done for what it is. And it's not the best area. That's the real problem for building anything too nice there. I think affordable housing, things like that, that's really perfect for that area. This is just next to the Neon Museum, for context, if people have been there.
I've walked there, Sean. I made it.
Not the perfect place for condo towers, Mark.
True.
So moving over to the airport, Las Vegas locally is reporting that the Capital One Lounge is opening on February 20th. I've been there a couple times in the last month or two, and they definitely had been moving along. So I knew it was coming soon, but this was the first time we got some sort of a confirmation. This isn't officially been announced by Capital One, but it does look like the entrance was almost done the last time I was there. I do believe this. Good news. This is just as you go up those escalators from the tram in the D gates. Great location for anybody flying out of that terminal.
Yeah, and Capital One lounges are my favorite lounges in the U.S. right now. They have a great, food outlay usually, good drinks, and the space is really beautiful. The couple I've been to, and they just it feels nicer than everything else, even like Centurion Lounge or anything like that. And we've all seen how crowded that gets in Vegas. So I think this will be cool to see. Hopefully it doesn't get overly busy, which I know it will. But there's a couple tricks you can do if you open up your Capital One app as soon as you get to the airport or as soon as you land. You can get on the waiting list if you need to and kind of get that ball rolling. And then you shouldn't have to wait too long when you get up there.
Yeah, I'm super excited about this. I feel the same way about the Capital One lounges. For me, definitely a step up over the Amex lounges, and hopefully this spreads people out. Chase is building a lounge in the Sea Gates, which is where Southwest flies, but I don't think we have an updated timeline on that, so we'll keep you updated.
Gates.
Hey, they need a lounge. I'm super excited about Capital One. I've been watching this, and yeah, I can't wait. So one of the unfortunate things with this show is that we've had to talk bad about Caesars quite often. I don't really, know why, I guess, because they keep making cuts and some crazy prices. We talked about their tiny whiskey shots a couple weeks ago. Well, here's a new one. Jacob's Life in Vegas. He shared these 24-ounce tall cans at the link now cost $18. $18, Mark. That's insane.
For you can get those at Speedway or a gas station for like 2 for $5, and it's $18 for one. It's nuts. I felt bad. Like somebody commented under his tweet, and we're like, "Yeah, I bought 5 for buddies, not realizing the price, and it was like $100."
Oh my God. You wonder why the numbers are down, why people don't want to come here. There's expensive, and then there's just insane.
It's just gouging. I commented, just go to CVS. Like, that's when it's time for a CVS run. I know our buddy C-Note likes to take around a backpack with like a plastic bag in it full of ice and fill it up with his beers. Probably the only way to do Vegas cheap anymore. It's kind of genius. Or, go to Slots of Fun where you can still get a deal on beers. But I just don't understand. Like $12, you're making money hand over fist. Why would you need to be up at $18 for a can of beer? The low end domestic. It's just crazy.
And they don't put the prices on anything. It's surge pricing in a lot of these stores in the casinos too. So like you said, the guy doesn't even know you're just bringing a can of beer, and then all of a sudden you're paying $90, or you're embarrassed and you got to be the guy who says, "Oh my God." You should be the guy. No. You should be the guy who says, "No, I'm not paying $18."
Take them back.
There's no embarrassment. They should be embarrassed. I wonder if the cashiers at those places are ever embarrassed about the prices.
I would be like, you do know these are $18 a piece, right? Like, you'd have to say that just to give them an out. Like 1, you let it go. Maybe 2, you let it go. But when you get to like 3 or more, if you're spending $60 for Budweiser, like you could get like 8 cases.
Hey, it makes Laughlin look really good.
No, well, $12 Corona is still extreme too. That was 12 ounce. It's all bad.
One more bad thing. Justin from the Hurdy Gurdy podcast, if people don't know him, he's a good follow. He's heavily into casino loyalty programs and sort of figuring out how to take advantage of them. He sent me a message saying that he heard from multiple people at Planet Hollywood that the Diamond Plus 4 drink benefit will no longer work at Starbucks locations at Caesars properties as of February 10th. Still not confirmed, but I think he's a pretty good source on this. And yeah, just another little cutback for their loyal customers.
I mean, it's a waste. You might as well get an $18 beer with it if you're going to use it.
As a reminder, we have our Patreon. $5 a month gets you access to our weekly after show. A lot of fun, in-depth discussion about Vegas behind the channel. Patreon.com/MTM Vegas for all the information. And thank you so much to everybody who supports us over there.
Think how crazy that is, that using a free drink at Starbucks is not maximizing it compared to a beer.
So from Caesars properties to an ex-Caesars property, Rio, Voodoo Lounge recently reopened. Our friend PDX Steels guy was there in full vlogger mode, filming everything. So I thought I would share it with you. I want to start with this, Mark. Those glass elevators, they definitely need to clean the glass on all their windows. They never did that when they renovated anything, but still such a cool old school sort of thing that we don't have anymore. We lost the beautiful glass elevators at Trop. I love this.
Yeah, I mean, before you open something new, you think you'd, give it a proper scrubbing, but that's the little things that are overlooked these days, or they just don't have the manpower to do it like they used to. I don't know, but it is cool. And even like the space, even though it looks older, it gives you the throwback vibes a little bit, and it doesn't look too busy. At least it wasn't that night. So maybe this is the time to check it out before they do anything, or if it gets popular again, get a little feel for it. Unless you're one of those people that has to have a vibe, then you probably don't want to go here yet.
Yeah, the decor is definitely dated. It's from another era. That whole Rio sort of 90s, 2000s vibe up there. But those views from the patio, you can't really beat those in town. I mean, spectacular. We'll show you some of the great views, but that's the reason to go up there. The bar itself looks fine, and they are going to renovate it and make it fresh. But this is one of the cooler spaces in all of Las Vegas. And just being so high above the strip, I think Ghost Bar gives you very similar vibes. I really like it out there as well at Palms. But this, yeah, I mean, it's hard to argue with this.
I don't know where else you can get those views, and have an outdoor patio and have it not be packed. So I think that's a great option. But I mean, this has been closed for what, 4 years now, and they didn't rehab it before opening? I don't understand.
Yeah, they didn't, and we don't know a lot about what's going on for phase two. We still haven't heard any announcements on when that's starting. Phase two would be the whole Masquerade Village section and the Masquerade Tower, which have not been renovated. And yeah, I don't know. I mean, they still have the whole area, the Masquerade Village, cleared out. They have a stage. I know they were doing some bands in there when PDX Steel's guy was there. It's still a little strange. We'll see where they go from here. But they're going to go forward without Kevin Sweet, and he is their chief gaming officer, basically the guy in charge of all of gaming at Rio. He worked at Cosmo for many, many years up and through 2023, moved to Rio, and now he is out. They told Vital Vegas, Team Rio is a big fan of Kevin Sweet, and we wish him well on his new endeavors. He has been an instrumental part of Rio's transformation, and the departure was amicable, so maybe he's moving on to bigger and better things. But yeah, it's going to hurt them in their transition here.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like to me, that he found something better or has an opportunity and is taking advantage of it. It doesn't seem like a firing or anything like that. And, with his background and everything, it seems like somebody you would want there. Rio was punching above their weight a little bit with him. I'm not too surprised by this, but it's sad if it was, he was doing a good job and they just lost him. It's definitely going to hurt him.
Yeah, and he's spearheaded Rio Rewards. A lot of changes still there. We've talked ad nauseum about Rio. I won't go into too much, but overall, I think the changes are great. The service in the hotel side, the front desk specifically, needs some work, but I mean, what a transformation so far. I love everything that they've done. Can't wait to see what they do with the Masquerade Village over there. We also have an update on the A's ballpark. It's supposed to start construction somewhere between April and June. So that is good news for all the skeptics out there. We're still, waiting for the final sort of things to be signed here, but
there's the skeptic. We don't even have a drawing or like the schematics yet.
They are working on the final schematics. They have filed the land use permit.
You're supposed to start in like 8 weeks or less.
Well, yeah, these are the final construction plan. We've seen the pretty detailed schematics already of the hotel and the casino and the ballpark and stuff. So, I mean, we'll know in a couple months if they actually get shovels in the ground. They're pretty much there. They've probably completed 98% of the stuff that they need to get started. So it's harder to remain skeptical, but that big funding gap is the huge question mark. Will Fisher throw in over $1 billion?
Yeah, I mean, it seems like they feel like that's likely, or they keep saying it. You never know until the money's actually in the pot. But I don't know that you'd go up to the last minute and be like, you know what, we don't have that kind of money. Sorry, didn't really work out. But I mean, we've seen crazy things before in sports. Did you ever see that Islanders thing where a guy tried to buy it and he had like $11 million and he was trying to buy a whole bunch and was falsifying all these documents and almost got it done? One of the craziest things I've ever seen.
Yeah, that was a crazy story. I think this is happening. I mean, it's hard to say that they're going to get this far, but as you said, it certainly could happen. So we'll keep an eye out on it. The median home price in Southern Nevada just reached $485,000. That breaks a record. The previous record was 482,000 back in May of 2022. It's also up 9% in the last year. So who says that Vegas housing prices are going to crash? It doesn't seem like it.
Thanks, California.
Yeah, thanks to everything there. But it is nuts to sort of see this, a 9% year over year increase and back to the top of the market here. So yeah, just stay away. Just stay away, everybody, please. We don't need the more traffic.
Yeah, I mean, we bring up how you have a shortage of housing there, and that just adds to the issues. And then I'm sure a lot of people are buying from out of state and everything, either as a secondary home or a retirement home, and that causes more problems and everything else. So hopefully they can get that priced out, because that's an insane median to have, and it makes it unaffordable for people that have lived there for a long time.
We're in the desert. Why does everybody want to live in the desert as I, sit in my house in the middle of the desert?
When it's warm out and you're wearing a hoodie.
So out to the southwest, Durango phase 2, we covered all the details about what they announced. It's going to be done within a year, which is super fun. A lot of it is a new parking garage and then more space, kind of setting up probably phase 3, where they potentially could add movie theaters, bowling alley, stuff like that. But they posted a video updating people on construction. They've been working on it for about a month, and they moved some dirt. So hopefully we'll start to see some vertical construction soon.
Yeah, it's nice to hear, a quick timeline. We don't get that much in Vegas anymore with all our updates. So it'll be cool to see what they're able to accomplish in just a year. And then hopefully they get to the phase 3, because I'm sure everybody that lives around that area would love to have, an extra bowling alley, movie theater, all that stuff to be able to go to, right around the corner.
And moving on, Caesar's Palace, the Colosseum, they lost Adele. They picked up Kelly Clarkson, not really stealing it from themselves. I guess she was at Planet Hollywood in her most recent residency, but they just announced studio sessions, which is going to be at the Colosseum. Tickets will be on sale February 14th. I refrain from making the joke that I know you're going to make right now.
I was going to refrain. No, I think it's a good name. She puts on a good show, got a lot of songs, big catalog and all of that. And I think a lot of people will still, be willing to pay to go see her and everything. So I think, it's not Adele, but, it's not bad either.
Yeah, and it's a step up for her, I would say. It feels like Planet Hollywood to the Coliseum is sort of the creme de la creme of Caesar's theaters for residencies. So they need to fill the hole in their schedule. Blake Shelton has kind of picked up some other stuff. Garth Brooks left, Adele left. It's a giant hole to fill, Mark.
This is after we laughed so hard that we had to stop filming the first time he said it, and then it was like, oh, I can't say it, let me fix it, and then he comes back with it.
Doubling down, that's what it's called.
There you go. Double down on the big hole.
And let's close with this. A couple weeks ago, and we've debated whether to talk about this or not, but we came across a discussion about Golden Steer and the steakhouse, and kind of how prices have gone up significantly over the last few years as it's become popular on social media. A lot of social media influencers promoting it. And that sort of got into a whole discussion about things, where we saw this tweet from Vegas Starfish saying that Las Vegas Phil is their social media manager, promoting them. And there's been discussion around a lot of this content. I want to start by saying that Las Vegas Phil and Vegas Starfish, they put out good content. They work really hard and they do a lot of great stuff, but they are paid marketing promoters, kind of identifying themselves as social media influencers, and they're not disclosing when they have these relationships. And it was sort of interesting to see her point out that Las Vegas Phil was their social media manager, considering how much he's been promoting them, things like that. It stinks that the biggest influencers in our space aren't willing to just be transparent. It's okay if it's an ad.
Yeah, I think, nobody's going to be upset if they say, this was paid for or sponsored, or all you have to do is put hashtag ad, and most people probably wouldn't even notice. So I don't think you're going to get any blowback. And then when they have gotten blowback, at least Vegas Starfish, she's fought it and said, no, nothing's paid for and stuff, which, I mean, what are you doing there? It's just making it worse. Especially like these type of things. If you would just come out and said, hey, like the $1,000 lobster tray that I hated because he was just like slopping them in the butter and it looked disgusting, and holding it up and letting it drip all over like it was drooling. All you had to say was, hey, they brought me out. Did you know this was available? I never knew it was available when we even ate there, and I didn't know it was a thing. So I think there's still value there. And if you would have said I was invited, or, they wanted me to show this off, or however you want to word it, to let people know that you didn't buy the $1,000 tray of lobsters, it's fine. It's still useful content. It's still stuff we want to see. We get behind the scenes access, things in the kitchen, all that type of stuff. And, it gives you an idea. Maybe you don't listen to them and if they say it's great or it's the best burger they've ever had or whatever, but it still shows you what the inside looks like, what the food looks like, how it's prepared. All that stuff is useful content that we want, and we don't care if it's paid for, if it's good. I mean, there's no way that these are all paid for by themselves or anything like that. And all you have to do is admit that, and nobody's going to like unfollow you, unsubscribe. You might get more because there's so many people out there that are doing this and don't admit it. And it's just shameful.
And when they're working as a marketing manager directly for the brand, there's really no question about whether that should be disclosed. I mean, there are some questions here, like local media. Johnny Katz, he's always out at these events. Clearly, he's not paying for it. I'm sure he's getting media tickets. Should the Review Journal disclose that? Probably, and they don't. So there's some other things here. But when you're working directly for Golden Steer and putting this out there, that's a little bit tough, and it's happening across all these businesses. In fact, you might notice that a certain business might be promoted across several accounts all at once, and that's because that business hired these people to promote it, and it's fine, but yeah, disclose it. And the other sort of tricky thing that they often use is this might be the best burger in Las Vegas. This might be the best pizza in Las Vegas, because they are not reviewing it. They are doing an ad for it. Again, we give so much love and put so much out there for other influencers to try to cover content and to try to promote other people. And we just ask that you be honest in your promotion. We like your work. This isn't an attack on them. This just stemmed from their conversation. There's many, many more people doing it all over TikTok, Instagram. I want to know out there, do you mind? A lot of people, we had this discussion in our after show last week, said that they're kind of understand that this is the case and they don't look at them for reviews, but they like getting the exposure, kind of like what you said. So do you guys know it and you just sort of deal with it? Is it a problem? I'd love to hear what everybody out there has to say.
Some people don't care or know. I mean, I think if you've paid attention, you know that it is. It's just, it still probably irks you a bit that they don't come out and say it. But I think there's a lot of people that don't realize it. I mean, and maybe go there based off this. Oh, it's probably, she says it's, or he says it's the best burger. I should go try that and stuff, which is fine. Maybe they ended up thinking it's the best burger and all of that. But, and I wouldn't leave the restaurants off the hook either. They should be demanding that this is, if you're paying for it, it should be out there. That makes you look shady too, that it's not. There are companies that will require that. Making this perfect content that looks great and everything's great, there's no negativity, makes people think that's the way everything should be. And I think that's why we get some complaints on the show of speaking our truth or whatever, and openly saying something isn't great if we don't think it's great. And people give you backlash because they're so used to being spoon-fed the best version of things, and they don't like that. And they've been kind of like cultivated into thinking that's the only way you can provide value.
And there's something else I realized, and I said it before as I was looking into this, and we were talking about this the last couple of weeks, is these coordinated ad campaigns that are happening that you don't see. But if you kind of look back and see, this restaurant will get highlighted on this account, that account. So it's happening. They're not letting us know, and it kind of stinks. And I would love for them to do that. We go out of our way to try to find content that's honest and put out there. And sometimes we find content from these creators and we will share it if they are the source of it. But we would really just love transparency in the community. And I guess that's our pledge, to provide transparency to all of you. If we're being paid for anything, we will certainly let you know. And I always do that, whether I pay for it or not. I just tell you how I got it. Like the Peter Luger on the last show, just say Diamond Celebration, whatever it is. It's super easy. Let's make the community better.
Golden Steer was struggling financially a few years ago. They were on Groupon. Prices were a third of what they are now and stuff. So their content helps us because it shows us things we wouldn't know, but then it also makes everything more expensive if it's successful. So it hurts us. And maybe not as many people would go if they knew it was an ad. I don't know. But, it's like a double-edged sword there. I don't know what else to say besides it's good content. It's stuff that we like to see. It shows us things that we would have never been able to see before. All you have to do is say, hey, I didn't pay for this.
I think you said it absolutely perfectly. And I hope if you stuck with us through this entire conversation, you enjoyed it. Would love for you to leave a comment and let us know what you think about that. Everything else we discussed on the show, Kelly Clarkson, her residency, Cashman Field for sale, the Mar-A-Lago on the Strip, everything else we discussed. Have you seen the Bighorn Sheep out in Boulder City? Leave a comment. We do 2 shows a week, Tuesdays and Fridays, and we'll be back in a couple days with another show. Thanks so much for watching. Talk to you next time.
I'm going to shame Sean into listening to the sheep comedy show now. Have a good
For
weekend.
the one person that
everybody.
got that reference out there.
Yeah, if you got the reference, let us know. I want to prove Sean wrong. There's at least 3.
Enjoy the outtakes. Yeah, big name, big thing. They need to fill their hole. They also have, they need to fill the hole in their schedule. See, I knew it. I had a.
Oh, she should go. She should go to the spa that can help fill the holes by blowing stuff at it.